Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thanks.
Okay, great. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and what is your role here at the Zambia Alternative Mining Indaba?
Yeah, my name is Nsamach Kwanka. I am the National Director for Publish What You Pay Zambia.
Right.
Publish What You Pay Zambia has since 2015 been convening this multi-stakeholder platform,
Right.
which we call Zambia Alternative Mining Indaba. Multi-stakeholder because it brings together the different actors in the mining sector. Initially, it was just for voice,
Right.
but now it's co-creation and policy influencing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we are the conveners of the Zambia Alternative Mining Indaba.
Great. It's good to get a sense of the work that you're doing, and I'm glad that you mentioned the aspect of policy. And the mining sector is very critical, especially when it comes to financing the national budget. So I would like to understand, how would you think the mining sector would best support the education budget in Zambia?
Already it is
Right.
supporting the education sector,
Right.
except it's not in a very direct way. We do not have, for example, identified income stream from mining.
Right. Right.
We say, how many mines do we have? Okay, how much are we generating from this mine?
Absolutely.
And then we say this income from this mine for this period is sort of ring-fenced towards education. We don't have that.
Absolutely.
What we have is a pot, a bucket of funds,
Right.
where everything is put and then people begin
Absolutely.
to. And maybe that's a conversation perhaps that we may want to have
Yeah.
at some point, so that we can begin to help people see how mining is directly
Absolutely.
supporting.
Right.
And my hope is that one day the policymakers can listen, because right now people can't see directly. I mean, there are a few who can, but majority of the citizenry can't see
Right. Right.
how mining is supporting education
Absolutely.
in this context. So to grow an economy, you need an educated population,
Absolutely.
not schooled population.
Right.
And to get your citizens properly educated, you need adequate financing.
Absolutely.
For countries and economies such as Zambia that are rich in mineral resources and other natural resources, we should not have problems with education financing.
Absolutely.
All things being equal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's very important that you bring out that aspect to say that when we have the mineral resources, surely it should translate into quality education infrastructure and that sort of aspect. As ActionAid, we're doing a lot of work, for instance, in Kalumbila, in Kasempa, as well as Solwezi. And I think one of the critical aspects that is coming out from the communities is that we want to see the mineral wealth translating into improved public service delivery and public infrastructure. And you're very spot on in terms of saying that the pool is the revenue is it all goes to what I think Control 99, and we don't have specific mechanisms where we can ring-fence education financing. Perhaps could you perhaps be more specific in terms of or maybe what could be your advice or your policy recommendation to perhaps the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development in terms of and the Ministry of Education as well, in terms of where exactly we can channel these funds and straight into education.
Yeah, so I hope I get to your question in my response.
Yeah.
But I wanted to preface it with setting the broader context within which our national development is couched.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the framing of our national development, which I call the theoretical concept that we have
Absolutely.
around our national development.
Absolutely.
And how sectors such as mining could play. I think that we have not, as a people, intentionally situated mining in the economy. We broadly see mining as being important, but we've not said specifically in this sector.
Absolutely.
Secondly, we have not said, in order for us as a people to get to where I want to be, this sector will be priority.
Yes. Yes.
We have several priorities.
Absolutely.
And that's a fluidity that is in our national development planning and resource allocation processes.
Absolutely.
Because we have many priorities and they will allow for a lot of fluidity, and therefore we can't say exactly.
Right.
So
right.
when we come to a specific aspect or when we come to talk about specifically how mining can contribute to the education outcomes and learning outcomes, it becomes difficult because the framing is not specific, it's broad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we need to allow ourselves as a people to introspect the concepts that are informing the models of development that we have embraced.
Yes.
This might be a long-term process, but we're at a critical point now when we are developing the 9th National Development Plan.
Yes.
It's a time to engage, reconsider, review the conceptual framework around our development framing.
Absolutely.
And then we zero down to just identify two things. Education is important, and mining can actually support, but what kind of education? Right? What kind of education are we desiring for our people?
Right. And thank you so much for bringing that out. I think we really need to be very specific in terms of how we frame our policy, and of course it's the sort of education that we want to put into place. As you know, this is more of it's a modern sort of world, and I think education should be able to produce solutions that speak to the actual context, the present context. So thanks for bringing that out. And Mr. Chikwanka, in conclusion, I would just like to, of course, thank you for the work that you're doing as coordinating the ZAMI for so many years. It's been a great success. I would like to ask you this question finally. What would you like to see out of this ZAMI from 2026?
Our greatest wish and desire that we hope ZAMI could contribute to is bring people closer to mining.
Absolutely.
Our people live proximate to mining enterprises. Our people live closer to the police offices, but our people are not influencing what is going on in the mining enterprises. Our people are not influencing what goes on in the policy processes. So one of the things we'd like the ZAMI to contribute to is get our people closer, not as a checkbox, but as for meaningful engagement.
Absolutely.
And this is where we talk about transparency and accountability. This is not transparency, publishing reports and it's going to the people and say, these minerals are yours.
Right.
We would like to develop them.
Absolutely.
How do you think we can do this? And work with the people at every stage in the value chain. That still remains a yawning gap. And we hope through this we can slowly close that gap.
Right.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
It's the pleasure is ours, Mr. Chikwanka, and we wish you the very best. Until next time.
Thank you so much.
Sure. So we're still live at the Zambia Alternative Mining Dawa here at East Park, and I'm joined by
Kutauka Mugukwano.
Mr. Mukwano. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
I just want you to please, perhaps in a little bit details, introduce yourself, where you're coming from, and what you do, and what brings you to the Zambia Alternative Mining Indaba.
Okay, I'm coming from Northwestern Province.
Right.
Of Zambia.
Right.
I belong to the association, Small Scale Miners Association, Northwestern Province.
Right.
And we are in the extractive industry.
Right.
This is a mining indaba.
Yeah.
Of course, we are part of the industry that deals with what they are actually dealing with here.
Absolutely.
So we have come here to just get information and also share the information.
Absolutely.
Because there are other stakeholders that are available here, but on our part as an association, of course, we have also a representation from the committee that we have set up in collaboration with Action Aid, where we have GBV Women Watch Committee that deals with issues to do with the rights of the people in the mining sector, especially artisanal and small-scale miners, and then also communities around where the mining is taking place in terms of their rights.
Absolutely.
There are a number of things that we can discuss in line with that. But as an association, we have come here to discuss, to share information about mining formalization issues,
Yes.
challenges the mining sector is dealing
Right,
with,
right.
and many other issues
Right.
in terms of where we can do better
Yeah.
as a country in
Yeah.
the mining sector. It's a sector that is actually growing.
Yes, yes.
That needs a lot of work to be done in
Right.
terms of education,
Exactly.
direction, giving
Yeah.
a sense of direction.
Right.
We are dealing with issues to do with what is being referred to as illegal mining.
Right, right,
So we are formalizing so that people don't mine illegally.
right.
So
right.
we are promoting that.
Right.
Yes, please.
No, thank you very much. And I like that you've brought in the angle of rights, and you've also mentioned specifically the aspect of education. Now, I understand that you are an association, and if I stand corrected, I do believe that you're actively in the mining sector as a miner yourself. And how do you see the importance of the mining sector in ensuring that we have sufficient or adequate education financing?
Okay. The mining sector, I think we have, of course, two different categories.
Absolutely.
There are big mines, we don't deal with big mines.
Right.
But there are certain things we feel even big mines can do in
Absolutely.
terms of advocating for education.
Right.
The rights of children, young people in
Yeah.
terms of education.
Right.
So when we are talking about education, we are talking about facilities. Institutions like a university,
Right.
secondary schools.
Right. Right.
We may not have enough secondary schools that are there.
Yeah.
So there is need for construction of more secondary schools.
Sure.
You've seen what has happened in terms of the numbers of pupils that have gone back to school because of what the government has put in place in terms of free education.
Absolutely.
So that poses a challenge.
Right.
The
right.
big mines can come into helping the government
Right.
to put up infrastructure like
Right.
schools,
Right.
classroom blocks.
Right.
But also from the sector of the artisanal and small-scale mines, we still need what they can contribute to the communities, and that's part of what they can do.
Absolutely.
So if they can build up classroom blocks,
Right.
for small-scale and artisanal miners, I think they may not go for the infrastructure like a university,
Right.
because the demand is so huge in terms of what
Absolutely.
the big mines can come in.
Absolutely.
But as the small-scale and artisanal miners, building a classroom block, it will be a contribution that will go into the community. We are plowing back into the community. We
Yes.
are encouraging our miners to do that.
Right. Right.
Of course, there are a number of things, but for today, we are focusing on education.
Right. Great.
So classroom block would be, construction of that would be a better contribution towards that.
Right.
Of course, probably the learners need material that they are supposed to be using in their schools.
Yeah.
The small-scale and artisanal miners can come on board and also help to purchase those.
And I really like how you've come out, bringing out the aspect of artisanal and small-scale mining. But I'd also like to, I do understand the government has made so many strides in terms of supporting the sector, where we've seen the introduction of the Artisanal and Small-Scale Mining Fund under the Geological and Minerals Development Act of 2025, I believe. That is obviously showing us that there's some movement there. But what more support would the sector need, for instance, to meet formalization, but also to participate far much better, so that you can also contribute, because you also need to contribute to the government coffers through taxation. That is very key, so that we are also able to get that funding and support in the education budget.
Okay, that's a good question. The sector is a sector that is not developed so much,
Right.
but it's developing
Right.
and it's evolving.
Right.
There are challenges that come along with that. We are venturing into a field where we had not had a lot of artisanal mining, small-scale mining rights given to
Right.
the miners.
Right.
Now that we have, how then, you are asking to say, how then do we have them begin to contribute to the GDP of the country?
Absolutely.
For them to do that, they must be into production.
Yeah.
So production, for it to happen, number one, majority of the small-scale and artisanal miners probably are mining using these tools that are actually not going to give them production
Right,
that is
right.
reasonable.
Right.
So we need to move from usage of tools like picks and shovels to mechanization.
Absolutely.
So the government can come in. Of course, there is a lot of appetite to have this sector move.
Right.
We have made strides with the government in terms of advocating for companies that can bring probably through a loan
Right. Right.
mechanization,
Right.
like Saro. We
Yeah.
had an engagement with government last time in Solwezi. I think that was the municipal council chambers, where the members of parliament
Right.
from the committee that deals with trade and commerce. We engaged them and they brought SARO on board. SARO has offered that they can bring machinery,
Absolutely.
but on loan form to this artisanal and small-scale miners. When they are helped like that, they now can contribute through taxes
Right.
and also corporate social responsibility to the
Absolutely.
communities where they are living.
Right.
And construction of classroom blocks
Blocks. Yeah.
that can come under
Yeah.
the corporate social responsibility they are supposed to carry. It's not only expected with the big mines, even
Right.
the small scale mines
Absolutely.
can do that.
Absolutely.
So whilst they pay taxes,
Yeah.
the government looks into social amenities of the country. And of course, the communities will appreciate
Absolutely.
the development that will
Right.
be going into that line.
Right.
But that's not the only thing. They can also, in a small way, through corporate social responsibilities, do
Right.
certain activities.
Right.
Yes, please.
Great. Thank you for outlaying those key parts and aspects around some of the ways that the ASM can be capacitated. But in closing and in under a minute, sir, I would just like you to perhaps what could be your word to policymakers and of course your fellow artisanal small scale miners. What could be your points of reflection?
Okay. To the policymakers, I think there are certain policies that need to be looked at in terms of the challenges the small and artisanal miners face.
Right.
There are times when we have challenges with traditional leaders
Absolutely.
in terms of how to access the documents. You have the mining license issued by government,
Absolutely.
but the traditional leaders are not there ready to give you the consent letter.
Right.
They would prefer somebody who has given them an envelope, brown envelope.
Yeah.
These foreigners who are coming into the country, they want to
Absolutely.
invest.
Absolutely.
As a small and artisanal miner, you don't have that. So they would rather give that consent letter to this one, and you don't get it.
Absolutely.
So it's our appeal to the traditional leaders that they can understand their own
Right.
people
Right.
in their areas where they want to operate from.
Yeah.
And then also with government, I think we would encourage government to always have the collaboration with the small scale and artisanal miners. We have
Right.
the association, they can collaborate with us
Right.
to see how best we can attend to the needs of the artisanal and small scale miners.
Right. Right.
But also to the small scale and artisanal miners, my encouragement is let's do the correct thing.
Absolutely.
We have laws that we are supposed to follow. We need to be compliant
Absolutely.
because the environment has to be taken care of. When we are compliant, we will not have to run battles with government. That puts us in a better position
Absolutely.
where we can focus on production.
Right.
When we focus on production, we will have the resources, the financial resources we are going to reap from that,
Right.
which we can then now get into education sector to see how we can support the education sector.
Absolutely.
If we are able, there are small scale mines that are actually able to even build a university, but they need to be helped to grow to those levels where they can be able to do that.
Right. Right.
Yes, please.
Right. No, Mr. Mukwano, it's a real pleasure to have you here, and thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you.
And our conversations continue here at the Zambia Alternative Mining in Daba, and I am joined by.
My name is Fepi Matanda and I'm coming from the Youth Life Project.
Please tell us about the Youth Life Project. Yeah.
So the Youth Life Project is a youth-led organization based in Kalingalinga, Lusaka, and our main priority is to teach the youth about issues surrounding governance,
Right.
climate. We also do community work based on social justice,
Right.
and also we have talent development programs because we believe in a system where we can use advocacy
Right.
in a way that can relate with the youth, which
Right,
is we use a method called artivism,
Yeah.
which is a combination of using art to
Yeah.
send different messages surrounding the various things that I mentioned.
Right. And honestly, hearing the mandates of the Youth Life Project, you have a very important work that you're doing. Issues of social justice, these are important causes, especially for a
Yes.
setting like Zambia. And you used the word teaching. I think I
Yes.
caught that very carefully. We're here discussing, we're at the Zambia Alternative Mining in Daba, and the Zambia mining sector is very critical for Zambia's development.
Yes.
And as you know, I'm sure you've done work around the energy transition, climate justice, and all this. Zambia is now a hotspot because we have or harbor what they call critical minerals.
Yes,
You've
that's
got
true.
minerals like cobalt, copper, which are very important, to usher in the energy transition. So I think it would be very important to get your views as a youth. How can we ensure, or how's the mining sector very critical in translating the wealth that we have into enough funding for the education budget?
I think it is very important that the youth are involved in the mining sector
Right,
because considering the fact that this is where Zambia gets most of its resources. So I feel education is also important, that many youth should be able to, because such opportunities don't just come to
Absolutely.
everyone.
Everybody, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
it also depends. You have to have a certain level of education.
Right, right.
So I feel it's very important that youths especially are involved in the mining sector because it would avoid them getting into different vices such as addictions, and some people actually have talent that they are wasting because they don't have anything to do. Such opportunities should be granted to them, and also education support, because some people don't have the necessary education for them to get into schools that do mining and everything. So I feel education they should be helped with support with education.
Yeah. And so what I'm getting from you is that education, the education sector really should provide job opportunities for young people. And I do agree with you that that Zambia is a youth population, and I think one of the challenges we have also is youth unemployment. I think it's around 20%. So if the mining sector can open up to absorb that unemployment pool, you say could actually bring about positive outcomes.
Yes.
But I'd also like to, I would like to bring you to this point. Perhaps it's a little bit around policy. You know that, government generates a lot of revenue through taxes, mineral royalty, and all these aspects. So sometimes it's been, there's so many issues out there. For instance, illicit financial flows, tax evasion. These things have been said, they're there in the reports. Illicit financial flows, the Financial Intelligence Center reports that we had about 3 billion worth of illicit financial flows in their last report. So, what do you see? What are some of the missed opportunities that you see? Because that obviously that financing should have gone to support education, and it could have lifted someone out of poverty or given them opportunities. So, I don't know what could be your comment around that.
I think, with my observation, there's not. I don't think there's enough accountability on where these resources go to, and so we're not really sure if the taxes that are being paid actually, we don't know where it goes.
Right.
So I feel government should form policies that actually allow us, the citizens, to know where exactly the taxes are going, and so that we can plan ahead and also see how the education sector can be helped as well, because these resources are a lot.
Yeah,
there are a lot of businesses, there are a lot of industries that pay tax, but then we don't really know where the tax is going.
As a youth, and in conclusion, what is your message to fellow youths, to the government?
My message to my fellow youths and also the government is to invest in the mining sector, because it's a very good sector to invest in because of the many opportunities that are there, and also for the youths to invest in also taking keen interest in learning, because it's very important that the knowledge that, because we have a lot of innovative youths, but then they don't really know how to get access to these opportunities. So if they are made available, youth should take keen interest in getting active into the sector.
It's a pleasure to host you, and thanks for sharing your insights, and I wish you a pleasant day.
Thank you so much.
Take care. And we continue hearing from diverse actors here at the Zambia Alternative Mining Indaba. And today we have a special guest. Please introduce yourself and where you're coming from and what you're doing here at the Zambia Alternative Mining Indaba.
My name is Judith Nkonde.
Right.
I'm coming from Northwestern Small Scale Mining Association.
Great.
Particularly in Solwezi.
Right.
And I'm here as we can see, we are talking of gender issue.
Right.
So I'm standing on GBV Women Watch Committee.
Right.
Yes.
You've mentioned the GBV Women's Watch Committee. Can you just give us a little bit of a background so we can have an understanding of what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we talk of GBV, we are talking of everyone should participate in mining.
Right.
Because if you look at nowadays, it's like it's just men
Right.
who are in mining activities.
Yeah.
Now we are emphasizing on women and youths also to participate.
Right.
Not a situation whereby women are being intimidated that they can't do mining. As it was maybe in those years, they
Right.
were saying that when a woman is on her monthly period, she can't go into the mines.
Right.
Now, if we look at this, look at these big mines like Kansanshi, Lumwana, Kalumbila mines. There are even women there.
Right.
So if there was that scenario to say if a woman goes there, the minerals will disappear. Why is it that it can just disappear in these small scale or artisanal scale mines?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Of which even in these big mines they can't disappear.
Right.
So me, I'm standing on women to emphasize on women that they should also participate.
Right.
Not whereby they are intimidated.
Great.
The other thing is they have to know their rights.
Absolutely.
Women rights.
Right.
We have the right to do mining, to do anything that a man can do.
Right.
And at times you find that maybe a man can't do it. A woman has got the capacity to do it. And also in the mines, we don't want that situation whereby a woman can't be given a higher position. No. The other thing that we are lacking is that there's no proper information.
Right.
We need people like Action Aid. I really appreciate with Action Aid because they are coming on board to teach us. They are educating us on how to do it.
Right.
And the other thing which I'm looking at is that if we can have people that can tell us on identification of minerals.
Yes.
You find that maybe you are on your farm, you are cultivating. At times you can just throw them, minus knowing what is there.
Right.
Like what happens in King Konge. I hear there was just one who saw it, who knew it. But for us women, if we don't know, how do we come on board?
Right.
So I'm appealing to relevant authorities that can come on board to go in the communities and sensitize women, more especially women. I'm emphasizing on women.
Right.
Educate us,
Yes.
even youths,
Right.
for our future living.
Right.
Yes.
No, thank you so much. I think what you've shared also, this is the work that you're doing as a committee, right?
Yes.
You're doing a lot of sensitization, and also you've also made a call to the government that you need a level of a capacitation where you need how to identify the minerals, for instance, and also just to eliminate some of the misconceptions that are out there. Women can't participate in mining because of some biological situations. But also, Madam Judith, I would like to also understand. Because I also know that you are from the association, you're representing miners in a way, and also you're representing women in a way. So how do you envision, how can mining, the mining sector, support, education spending or the education budget? The government releases money to support education, the education sector, that goes to the Ministry of Education. Why is it important for the mining sector to be able to support the education budget?
The mining sector should come on board because if you look at the communities,
Right.
there are a lot of things which we are lacking, like schools,
Yes.
maybe water, in
Right.
terms of water.
Absolutely.
You find that there are places where they are very far with the streams or rivers. So if they can come on board and assist the community to do the boreholes or the tap water, whatever. Because there's this situation whereby maybe streams, the water is contaminated.
Absolutely.
And you find that a woman is carrying a bucket all the way, maybe 20 kilometers, just to go and fetch water. So now we are appealing to the mines so that they come on board and assist the community in whatever we are lacking. Even schools.
Right.
Some schools are very far. So our children are not able to go to school because of the distance which is there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what do you think can happen when the children don't have access to education, if they don't have access to a school, for instance? How do you see that in the community?
That is a very bad situation whereby you have, or I have my children who are not going to school because they are spoiling their future. How are they going to live?
Right.
And moreover, if they don't have that knowledge to do mining, to do whatever, they are just there dormant. That means their future won't be okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No, I think we can both agree that education is very important, and really that the mining sector should contribute their fair share to financing the education budget. So, Madam Judith, thank you so much for taking the
Please.
time to be here with us. We really appreciate, and we wish you a very good stay here in Lusaka.
Thank you very much.
And yes, we continue our discussions here at the Zambia Alternative Mining in Ndaba. At this point in time, we're going to get a youth perspective. And I'm here joined by...
My name is Chipo Mnyumbwe,
Yeah.
a member of Youth Life Project.
Right.
Yeah. So
What do you do at Youth Life Project?
Youth Life Project is a youth-led non-governmental organization.
Yeah.
So Youth Life Project is just an organization that brings youths together.
Right.
Yes, and also it provides a platform where youths can showcase their talents.
Right, right.
And also it provides small programs,
Yeah.
certificate programs,
Right.
and also diploma programs.
Yeah.
And so Youth Life Project supports people who are in need of those programs so that they can attend certificates.
Yeah.
One of the programs is food production.
Right,
Yes.
right.
And also we have engineering programs
Great.
that Youth Life Projects does. Yeah.
Great. So I've seen a lot of education aspects here where you're sort of providing academic credentials to these youths so that they have opportunities now to, they can actually make use or take advantage of the opportunities that come in their future. But I would like to, you're here at the Zambia Alternative Mining in Ndaba, right? And we're talking about mining, right? And the mining sector is very critical to the development of this nation. I want to ask you, as a youth, why do you think the mining sector is critical to financing the education sector?
So the mining sector, initially it's supposed to be a financial tool
Right.
to our country. Yes. So it helps in improving our socioeconomic status as a country
right.
because it provides minerals that we can process and
Right.
sell to other countries, which
Right.
is going to provide income
Right.
for the country. That income will be used to provide tax.
Right.
Yes, so when that income comes in, it's going to also provide tax. That tax initially is supposed to be used for the education sector
Right.
and also infrastructure. The infrastructure would include schools, building healthcare services, and also police services. Yes.
Right.
So the tax usually is just used for those in general,
Right.
like I mentioned earlier.
Right. So what would you like to see then, as perhaps what recommendations would you give to the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Education, and all these policy or institutions to ensure that mining supports quality education, right? What sort of recommendations would you have as a youth?
Okay, so from a youth perspective, I would really love the Ministry of Finance
Right.
to work hand in hand with other organizations.
Right.
Yes, to make sure that even as the mining sector brings in the tax, it's going to right use.
Right.
Yes, because as we all know, education is the key to success.
Absolutely.
And if we invest in education the right way,
Right.
we'll eventually have a better socioeconomic status
Right,
as
right.
a country.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. As a young woman, and as we are wrapping this up,
Yeah.
why do you think education financing is important?
From a woman's
Yeah, as a young woman,
Yeah, okay.
why do you think it's important for the country to invest
yeah.
heavily in
In
education?
education.
How can that support you as a woman?
Okay, so women before were known to be just home. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've noticed now we are investing more in women.
Right.
And that has proved to be something that is of great value.
Absolutely.
Yes, and speaking from a young woman's perspective, I've noticed that we've been given more opportunities as women, similar to a guy.
Right,
Yes. So these opportunities that have been invested in us, we are making sure to bring back to the community because a woman has a heart of giving back, and that giving back is going to improve the communities and
Right.
also the country at large.
Right.
So when we invest in a young woman's education, we
Yeah.
are also investing in a country.
Absolutely.
So we are going to improve not just the education sector, we are also going to improve the financial status of the country.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I like how what you've mentioned really pretty much is that women are the anchor
Yeah,
of
yeah.
society and,
Yes.
and our country. So thank you very much really for sharing your insights. It's been a pleasure. I'm wishing you a great day ahead.
Thank you so much.
Great. And here we go with more conversations. And this time around, we get perspectives from the media. I'm here joined by
Tash from Laka FM.
Tash from Laka FM. It's good to have you here.
It is good to be here.
Okay, so Tash, I'd just like to get a sense from you. I know that the media is very cardinal in disseminating information, and I sure believe that you are aware that our government has now passed the Education for All policy into actual law. So what that means then is that you don't need to pay for education, from early childhood up until secondary, right? So I would like to understand, because you're here at the Zambia Alternative Mining in Daba, and I think we're really talking about the mining sector and its relevance to economic growth, job creation, budget execution as well. I'd like you to please just give us a sense of what the education sector or education financing, how it relates in this regard to to mining, and also of course put it in mind or keep it in mind the Education for All policy being translated into law.
All right. So one of the things that is actually being talked about, and one of the most trending things that is actually being talked about in the country, is the free for all education
Absolutely.
policy. And I love that we're driving this conversation and having this conversation in line with mining, which is one of the resources that we have in the country, and
Right.
it's could be the biggest resource that could bring us good income.
Absolutely.
And so for us to run the free education policy,
Yeah.
we do need money
Absolutely.
to back up.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're actually looking at is some challenges that we have with running the free education policy.
Right.
One of the things that we can't run away from is the fact that we have more children enrolling into school, so
Absolutely.
meaning we have
People to teacher ratio.
exactly.
Yeah,
So we
very high.
have that challenge.
Yeah.
Yes, we could then hire more teachers.
Absolutely.
But we still need resources.
Yeah.
And some of these resources need to be directed to infrastructure.
Exactly.
And for us to get some of these resources, we could be getting these resources from mining.
Yes.
Companies in the mining sector itself.
Right.
So I think this endeavor that we're having right now is a good conversation starter to the government and also the mining sector itself
Right.
to incorporate the mining and the education sector at the end of the day.
Right.
It looks very far apart, but
Right.
it's something that we can actually get to marry, and it could actually work perfectly well
Right.
for promoting quality education
Yeah.
in the country. The main word being
Quality
quality education.
education.
It is now low,
Yeah.
and so what we need to work on is just supplementing
Right.
how well the law will work. And
Right.
it means having quality education.
Right. And I'm really glad that you've really delved into the intricacies of the education sector. You've talked about the issues around teacher to pupil ratio, infrastructure. These are cardinal, of course, in bringing about the quality education that you speak of. Now, I'd like to get this aspect, and I'd like to get your sense, because you're from the media as well, right? What is the role of the media, for instance, in advancing education financing, for instance, and also advocating for mining justice to be able to support the communities, because we have so many minerals, right? And that should mean something in those communities. So what is the role of the media in this regard?
As the fourth estate,
Yes.
We have a really big role just beyond being the mouthpiece,
Absolutely.
which is the major one.
Right.
But at the end of the day, being around the tables that are here exhibiting today and having conversations with different CSOs that have projects in different communities,
Right.
appreciating the works that are being done
Yeah.
is one of the things that we have to do as the media.
Yeah.
And also just shining more light on some of the challenges that the community members are actually facing when it comes to the mining industry
Right,
itself.
right,
We're
right.
talking about having to marry the mining sector and the education sector.
Absolutely.
And this can only work if we appreciate the people that are on the ground at the end of the day. So the role that we play as media is very, very cardinal.
Absolutely.
It is way beyond just airing one particular story, but it's also pushing the agenda and pushing the right agenda and just having the right advocacy works and
Right.
having the right people continuously talking about, or let's just say preaching about what some of the benefits could be
Yeah.
around having this conversation when it comes to the mining sector
Right.
itself. So us as the media, as the fourth estate, have a lot of work to do, and I personally just feel it's not one day theme or a seasonal theme
Right,
that,
right.
oh no, we will actually just push this agenda for this particular period
Right.
and it ends. It's not like, you know, like a campaign period where
Yes,
we say, oh,
so
we have a
seasonal.
limited time where
Yes.
it's like 3 months and
Yeah.
we stop. But this is something that has to
Continuous.
go on
Yeah.
and be continuous until
Absolutely.
we achieve what we want and we move on to something else that we're going to achieve.
Absolutely. Now, thank you very much for sharing, the aspect, the fourth estate and really what your role is. But also in closing, I'd like to get your sense, even as you are a young woman, what is the importance of investing in education and adequate investment in education? What does that mean for young women like you or young women out there?
Whew, I like to say this, and it has been said so many times, and some of the times we say these things and we don't really take them really personal.
Absolutely.
You educate a woman, you educate the whole nation. That's it.
Great point.
Just that.
Great point.
Just that.
Yeah.
So be educated as a young woman and you empower so many people and you empower so many communities.
Yeah. And this is something that's really coming out, in the conversations here when I'm speaking to the young women. They really bring out the aspect that, once you educate women, it's the true trickle-down economics. You
Yes,
actually
it
you
is.
see the circulation and the multiplication of the value. So just to really thank you for taking your time to be part of this conversation, and we really wish you the very best, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for the exhibition. Just briefly, under a minute, what is your impression around the exhibitions and so far of everything that has been said and exhibited?
Well, I think I'm personally impressed with what I have seen. Our role sometimes as government is focusing on policy and the extent to which policy is being implemented on the ground is feedback that we are receiving through this interaction from the civil society organizations.
Okay.
Going around every table or every stand gives me an impression that, as the president puts it, we have done a lot, but a lot more needs to be done. I would be particularly interested to be receptive to various possible proposals from the various NGOs on the various aspects of what we do in the mining industry. Because one of the things that we are particularly interested in right now is the establishment of a national framework for benefit sharing with communities in the mining areas. So there are certain examples from Ghana, for instance, where there is a dedicated institution for the distribution of resources from the mining industry. I would be glad from the NGO perspective to hear, because there is a general view that the communities are not benefiting.
Yeah.
And after the commodities are mined out, the people who least benefited are the people who get injured from the mining activities.
Sure.
We have made some policy decisions and would like to be able to get feedback from you as what is being done. But all said and done, I'm impressed with what I have seen. It's really an alternative mining endeavor.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
and there is someone from Botswana.
Yes.
I must indicate that I had a delegation of citizens
Yeah.
who went to Botswana for some kind of a fact-finding mission on the implementation of the local content.
Oh.
And what we have received is that the president of Botswana would like to be part of the Zambian mining insaka.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, Zambia is expanding its mining sector.
Yes.
How can this growth translate into greater public investment in essential services such as education?
One of the key direct intervention your permanent secretary is making, of course under guidance of my superiors, is that every mining investment must have a corresponding public sector investment.
Okay.
Public sector not in the form of government putting in money,
Yeah.
public services.
Okay.
Every mine located in any part of the country, it must come up with a mining township.
Okay.
With a mining township, there will be associated services in the form of schools, in the form of health facilities, in the form of access roads to those various areas. And because those things happen, it simply implies that even commercial services like shops, ShopRite and others, they become attracted to those areas. So those are the specific interventions, so that the mining companies must get a social license in order to operate in any part of this country.
And lastly, PS, we know that Zambia continues to unlock its mineral potential. We're talking about the Lobito corridor, connectedness with other countries in the region. What message would you like to share with citizens on ensuring that our mineral wealth contributes to a better future, including quality education for every child?
To us, that is very important. The increased investment in the mining industry must start talking to the child in every part of the country. It must talk to the mothers as they go to the hospitals. The services must be available. And it is only through sustained mineral investment and the associated benefits that accrues to the country. So we would want, as far as possible, all that to go into the direction of the communities. We talk about a Lobito corridor. Yeah. Many times in the past we are talking about Lobito rail line. Now we are talking about Lobito corridor. I think we need to change it further and call it Lobito economic corridor. Through that corridor, number one, value addition industries must come on board. The policy is already in place. It's an issue of implementation. The second one is that agribusiness industries must be set up along the corridor. Whoever is going to be involved, they will require to eat. And therefore, it is an opportunity for the farmers. Farmers, we are talking about beef farmers. We are talking about horticultural farmers. We are talking about long crops like maize. All those produce beans and sage. They will have to supply into that particular sector of the economy. So we see there to be a lot of opportunities. But the challenge we have, other than that, before I conclude, is that as government, again, we have come up with local content regulations, which implies that all those companies that are going to set up, they must buy local. When they buy local, the benefits accrue to the community. And therefore, it's in our best interest that we encourage that investment, and we must also be able to willingly exploit the opportunities. If we don't exploit those opportunities, nothing can happen. So it is for us as citizens, look at our competencies and utilize our competencies for the greater good of society.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure having you around.
Always.